In this exercise, we're going to go over what is the best way to convert an image for newsprint reproduction. So a lot of images have already been color corrected and retouched and set up and sent off for reproduction for magazine reproduction. In this case, this image has a documents profile of the US web coded, right, which is a swap profile. Swap profile has an anticipated dot gain that's in the low 20s. And newspaper, on the other hand, has a dot gain that's anticipated in the low 30s. So we have potentially an additional 10% of dot gain that's going to be applied to this image if we did nothing to it. So let's show it sort of what it would look like if this image didn't get fixed and was just sent as a swap image to newspaper. So we're going to get an additional, say 8 to 10% of dot gain. So there. We're going to have the highlights be darkens considerably from the amount of the darkening of the newspaper, and we're probably going to plug up in the shadows. So potentially we're having an image that has darkened considerably, gained considerably, and lost some detail, and as well we're probably going to lose some saturation. So when this image goes to newspaper, it could end up looking as bad as something like that. Now that's pretty atrocious, and we wouldn't want to send that kind of an image to the newspaper. And I've seen lots of images in newsprint have ended up this way because they weren't handled properly. So let's take that back to our original and let's look at a better way. We could go in and do the traditional methods of sort of doing the opposite, and we could compensate by adjusting our dot gain through curves. We could adjust our highlights and our shadows. We could boost our saturation, but that's kind of hit and miss. A better way is to go in to use your convert to profile option, which is available under the edit menu on CS3. We have our source space, which is the US web coded. This is the CMYK image. And we want to go CMYK to CMYK. And in this case, we're going to go to the Globe and Mail profile, and we're going to use the perceptual rendering intent. Now you can see the difference, the before and after here. It's quite dramatic. The image has been lightened. There's a 10% saturation boost that's been added to this image to help to compensate for the desaturation in newsprint, and the dot gain has been compensated for. So this is one step, one conversion that handles the entire process of going from one color space to another. So all we have to do is say OK, and that image now has been optimized for the Globe and Mail for newsprint reproduction with the higher dot gain and the reduction that's anticipated of the saturation. And as well, we could go in and do a little bit of a sharpening on this image, which is never a bad thing when it's going to newspaper. Even if an image is sharpened a little bit for swap, for general sheet fed or web printing, it's not a bad idea to add a little additional sharpening for newspaper, because newsprint reproduction at a low line screen of 100 line screen and running the way that they do is going to soften the image, let's guess, another 15 or 20% than you would expect. So it doesn't hurt to add a little bit more sharpening to an image. As long as you're not over sharpening, you're not getting halos. You just have to watch out for the edges obviously getting accentuated through sharpening. And there is a negative to sharpening, as you can see on the edge of this avocado. Too much sharpening is going to be a negative. But always view it at 100% and assess whether or not there's enough of a benefit. So I think that's probably pretty good. Something like that's going to be pretty much not noticeable. So that's the best way to convert an image for newspaper reproduction, as I say, is to use that edit convert to profile. And it's a straightforward, very fast and effective way. And when you save your image, always make sure that the embedded profile is with the image and it travels with it so that the receiver knows that you've utilized the convert to profile and that there shouldn't be any additional changes. This is really important when sending images off, is to make sure that you embed that color profile so that the receiver knows that this conversion has been done and this image is already optimized. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Bye.